How's everybody doing? This is Anthony Brown Logan, and today I bring you a story that comes from East St. Louis, Illinois, which for the most part is a ghetto. Now, the reason why I told you about it being a ghetto for the most part, and also the location, you'll understand in a little bit. But to get back on topic here, this story involves some 7 and 8-year-old kids kneeling during the national anthem before their Little League football game. Now, what I'm going to do right now is go and roll a clip from Fox News. This clip has the actual incident take place on camera. And you also have a statement from the coach. He got on and said a couple words. I guess it was like a phone interview. You don't see his face, but he explained why he allowed this to happen. So after we get done with that, I'm going to give you my teardown of it, my analysis of it, and whatever other related topics may be on my mind. So without further ado, go ahead and roll it.
The violent protests in St. Louis now inspiring 8-year-olds to take a knee for the national anthem. The Illinois football coach says his players asked about the St. Louis protests, so he told them about Colin Kaepernick.
One of the kids asked, can we lose that? Those are his words. And I said, as long as we know why we're doing it, I don't have a problem with kneeling. I felt like it was a good teaching moment for me.
The coach says the parents were all on board.
Okay, so you saw that, you heard that, you see what's going on. You got these kids out there kneeling during the national anthem, basically because of the so-called protests, which are really just race riots funded by outside sources. But I digress. They're race riots, and they're looking at it and saying, hey, what's going on with that? And then you have the coach. The coach really is in the position to where he should be telling these kids the proper way to behave and not the improper way to behave, which is basically copying whatever people are doing in the NFL and also out there in the streets in St. Louis. Remember, I told you this is pretty much in the ghetto of East St. Louis. It's in Illinois. It is basically right in it's the same area. You have the river right in between it, but for the most part on the west side of the river, that's St. Louis. That's where all the violence is happening from these so-called protests. These kids are seeing it and they need to be given the proper guidance. And the reason why I say this is a ghetto where they live at, you could tell everybody's black. You pretty much got 80-90% single parent households, usually led by a mother. What happens a lot of times, I'm gonna give you a little secret if you don't know, in the black community, when you have a low income area and you got these kids in football, a lot of times it's not even for anything else. It's not for like the kid's enjoyment. It's to give that kid a father figure and some kind of structure and balance in their life. And also a man to tell these kids how to move forward as young men. You see, when these kids have their mother in the house, once it gets to be like, 4th, 5th grade, right around there, the mother really has no more influence. Or she should not have any more influence at that point when it comes to being able to supersede what a man does. She has some influence, yes, but not quite what she had when the child was younger. When you got a baby, an infant, like really in gestation, like in the womb, and then when the baby is born on up to about 7 or 8 years old, right around that time, at that period of time, the mother is going to be the primary teacher. She's going to be real empathetic. She's going to understand things about the child that the father is not going to understand. When that child needs those flashcards and need to get taught how to read and the colors and all that kind of stuff, that's where the mother shines. That's where women shine. That's where they do the best. Now, when the kid gets older and there's no father around, he's going to have issues. He's not going to understand how to channel his growing masculinity, his testosterone. He's not going to understand how to challenge that in a positive way. So they put their kids, they meaning the single mothers, because look at the numbers. You got 75%, 76% single parent households in the black community, and you living in these low income ghettos, it's probably higher. You're talking about 80 to 90%. I saw one situation where it was an apartment complex, low income apartment complex, where 50% of the tenants were women and the other half were their children with no men in sight. No adult males lived in the actual complex. It was all women and their children. That's how it is a lot of times in the black community. Not quite to that extreme of 100% totally women, but 80 to 90. But getting back on track, the reason why they put their kids in football is because they want that coach to be like a father figure and to give them the proper guidance. This coach did not give them the proper guidance. If it was me, I don't have any children, but if I had kids or if I was a coach in football and the kid came to me and ask me about Colin Kaepernick and the protests and stuff like that, I'll tell them the cold, honest truth. I'll be like, look, these guys are trying to get attention. A guy like Colin Kaepernick does not feel like he's black enough, so you got to go out there and virtue signal to people to let everybody know that he's a real black man. He's down for the cause. But at the end of the day, what they're doing is not going to help anything. You can go out there, raise your black fist and do all that. That won't do anything to help anything. Everybody knows what's going on with the black community. Everybody knows about the poverty and crime and all of that. We don't need any kind of awareness. That does nothing. All it does is just make people look unpatriotic. And you're an American citizen. I love my country. You're not going to be on my team disrespecting my country. And see, that was a moment for the coach to really teach these kids a proper way. In his statement, he was talking about this is a teaching moment where he taught them the wrong thing, because the kids were asking, can we do this? The kids did not come out there and say, we're going to do this. At that point was a perfect moment to teach that kid the right thing, or teach those kids the right thing. But he did not do that. So really, I blame all of this on the coach, because he was in that position. He was given that position by the parents of these kids. And then at the end of it, he was saying, oh, the parents are all on board. Of course, the parents are going to pretty much be 100% women, and they're going to follow your lead. OK, because you're the man. That's your role. They came to you for that specific reason. So whatever you say, they're going to abide by. That's how that works. If you were to say, you know, all my kids and my team are going to stand up for a national anthem, we're not going to do any kneeling, the parents will be behind that as well. You can't just say, oh, the parents are behind it, like, you know, all the parents wanted you to do that. Because if that was the case, then the kid would have came to you and said, my mom told me that I don't have to do this. OK, what happened was the kid came to the coach because the coach is going to have more of a power position. And then the coach came to the parents, and then the parents agreed with what the coach said because he's in charge. That's what happened. So at the end of the day, as I close, if it was me, I'd be a military style dictator. You know, I never been in the military, but, you know, my father was in the military. Granddad was in the military. Uncle was in the military. You know, I know what it is to be patriotic and to respect the American flag, to respect our country. I will refuse to allow anyone under me, any of my, you know, kids I'm coaching, or my children, especially not my kids. Oh my, no. If I had kids, what I would do, I would say, anytime you hear a national anthem, stand up, right hand over your heart, look at the flag, you know, or look somewhere. Like, you can't just not respect the country. You know, all the sins of the past, it doesn't even really matter. Every nation on earth has sins from the past. No nation can say that they are without sin. Nobody, no country in Africa, no country in Europe, no country in Asia, no country in North America, no country, no people walking the planet Earth can say that they are without sin. None. So that's pretty much all I got to say about it. What do you think? Do you think the coach is the culprit in this situation for allowing the kids that he was coaching to do this? You're talking about 7 and 8-year-old kids. You need to set an example early as possible that being unpatriotic is not a good thing to do. It's just simply not. You live in the country, respect your country. If you don't like it, then I advise you move somewhere else. Protesting the national anthem, I mean, that's got to be the most unpatriotic thing. Some people don't really mind that. You know, some veterans don't mind that. They say, I fought for your right to be able to do whatever you want to do. But personally, I get offended. I love my state. I love my country. I love what I've been able to accomplish here in this country. I can't see myself really anywhere else in the world outside of the USA. Maybe I go visit it somewhere, but I still think this is the best country in the world. And if it was me, and if I was in that position to teach these kids something, I would teach them that, what I know to be true. But do you think that is more to blame than the coach? Do you think that the players in the NFL are to blame? Do you think that the people that are out there protesting, or so-called protesting, these paid provocateurs in St. Louis, are they the ones to blame for putting these images out there on TV? And you got young, impressionable minds questioning whether that's the right thing to do or not. Or is it kind of like an all of the above kind of thing? The coach was wrong for allowing it to happen. The players are wrong for making it popular. The people out there in St. Louis are wrong for committing all the violent acts and then shrouding it in the name of righteousness and being for, air quotes, justice. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.